Alright, we're here for round 2, and we lost the die roll, but our opponent's taken a mulligan to 6, and our hand has a lot of protection and a true name nemesis, so I think we'll keep it. Let's get to the game. Burn! Oh. Oh, Painter. Okay. I'm not super afraid of the tops out of Painter. There are hands against miracles where I will certainly spell pierce certainly force a will of Sensei's top, but not when they lead with mountain. Unless, of course, he is miracles and just drew his 1 mountain. Alright, 3 mana for a Blood Moon. Well, we'll start with spell pierce. See if this resolves. Alright, cool. Still had all these force wills. Alright, well, just in case we get Blood Moon again, I don't particularly want to get blown out, so I'm going to go and get my basic island and cast Pyromancer. Now, if he has a bolt or something weird like that, we can always protect it with a force and make a token, start getting our beats on. I'm not the hugest fan of True Name in this matchup, since it does get countered for 1 mana pretty often off of a Pyroblast or Red Elemental Blast, but you know, our Force of Wills are probably going to get hit by one of those too, assuming that his hand isn't super bad. Plus, with this Brainstorm still in my hand, with the fetch lane, I'd still kind of want to Brainstorm, and since I already have pressure, I don't actually need that much more with True Name. His deck is probably going to be full of a bunch of smaller creatures. I'm really hoping we don't get in a fight over a Blood Moon here. In fact, if he casts Blood Moon, there's a small chance I just let it resolve, since we do have the island. Alright, well, we still got 2 Force Wills on backup, so I think I'm just going to attack for 2 and play True Name Nemesis, and I don't know, probably cast Brainstorm next turn, but not too worried about it right now. His draw doesn't seem great. Alright, we'll choose you, Pikachu. Alright, let's see if he cracks. He does. Didn't like the top of his deck very much. Maybe we'll get to see the famed Enlightened Tutor. There it is. Let's see what he goes and gets. Check the reveal zone. Ensnaring Bridge. Yeah, I figured it would be that one. Well, we're going to fight over that one. And he's going to need another land and 2 Pyroblasts, or Seeming Spirit Guide and 2 Pyroblasts to resolve it. But he's going to be using all of his resources to do so. Excuse me. No, you don't have to use your mana anymore, buddy. There's no more mana burn. Probably going to pitch the True Name Nemesis. Make a token. Assume I'm going to get Pyroblasted, and we're going to do it again. Nope. Alright, I'll take it. Goblin Welder. Well, since that can bring back the Ensnaring Bridge, that is effectively the same thing as another Ensnaring Bridge, so get out of here, honky. And basically he has to have something real good next turn to not be 100% dead. Well, this is only 7, but the bolt is 10, so if he taps this Ancient Tomb, then we can kill him. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Those Wear and Tears are going to do some work in this matchup. He's got Blood Moon, he's got all sorts of goody targets. We do need to keep most of our removal in, though, as well, since he does have Magus of the Moon and Painter's Servant, as well as the Goblin Welders. Alright, well, let's go to our sideboard and figure out what we want to get rid of, because there's a reasonable number of cards that we like. We're definitely going to cut these Pyroblasts. I'm okay cutting the Batterskull and 2 Stone Forges, since we're just going to lean pretty heavy on Young Pyromancer, and Snaring Bridge shuts down Batterskull almost completely. I don't think we need all 6 removal spells, because I guess Plows are probably the worst, since he doesn't have anything that Bolt doesn't kill, and there's a potential that I get locked out of white mana, whereas the Lightning Bolts can still be cast under Blood Moon. We're going to bring in a couple Blue Blasts to fight Blood Moons. The Meddling Mages seem okay. Maybe they're not great. The 2 Wear Tear seem good. We could just cut all the not play Meddling Mage and just bring in 4 Cabal Therapy. Cabal Therapy could be pretty good here. And just mess with his hand. He doesn't have a lot of actual card advantage, so we could just rip his hand apart, since he is mostly a combo deck, but he does have some aggressive elements potentially. Well, this is quite possibly the worst hand I've ever seen. We're going to throw that one back. This hand's a little bit better. A little keeper. Let's hope he doesn't turn 1 Blood Moon us before we can get an island into play. Alright, that's good. Blue Blast is also great against Blood Moon, specifically because we have an island in our deck. So, alright, well, let's probe him and see what's going on over there before we make a decision on therapy or to hold up for Blue Blast. I suppose I could have played my Flooded Strand first, so he's got 2 Pyroblast and a Sudden Shock. Alright, well, we are just gonna take away his 2 copies of Pyroblast, since Sudden Shock doesn't actually do a whole lot against my hand. And really hope he doesn't peel a Blood Moon off the top. I guess to play it safe, we could have just played our fetch land and passed, and then therapied him on turn 2 with Blue Blast backup. In hindsight, that does seem a lot better. Unfortunately, a Blood Moon here would be catastrophic. Alright, well, he didn't play a 2-mana land, so that's awesome for us. And we drew a backup Force Wheel, player Flutter Strand to be able to go get island if need be, since the Arid Mesa can't. There's a little bit of work to be done on the mana base, I think, but I did want to have the same number of sources to be able to get the basic island as the Underground Sea. But, you know, I can definitely see times where the Arid Mesa is bad. Okay, well, there's a Brainstorm. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and fetch up the island, since we do have the backup for the white source. And we want to tap out to get some pressure on the board here. And this gives us a little bit of protection. We still have protection from Blood Moon, so we basically don't have to force that. Definitely not going to therapy away a Sudden Shock. That is one good thing about True Name in this matchup, though, is that his Sudden Shocks can't kill it, so it's a reliable source of pressure. Sensei's top is fine with me. Spin it up. It's one reason why I'm not the hugest fan of the Painter Servant decks in general. I did like where they were going on occasion when people were trying out Counterbalance in the deck, but Red-White just doesn't get to play Brainstorm, so to me that's a little awkward. I mean, I know the appeal. The deck has 2 different modes. It can go beat down, it can be a prison deck with Ensnaring Bridge, and it just has a way to snap off combo people with Grindstone and Painter Servant, but it's not really my jam, to be quite honest. I like me some Brainstorm, as you can clearly see. Alright, well, we're going to lead with a Brainstorm here. We might Pyroblast it, but I guess I'm okay with that. I got a Wear Tear. Not sure how relevant that is for our current hand. We could shuffle both of the Arid Mesa and the Wear Tear away, and then just cast Treasure Cruise. Doesn't seem so bad. Treasure Cruise into Cabal Therapy. Maybe that's bad. Maybe I don't want to get rid of the therapy. At least I can therapy away the sudden shock, though. It's not a huge detriment, but if I am able to draw into a young pyromancer, he won't be able to kill it, which is nice. Imperial Recruiter. Ooh, well, that one's pretty good. The Blue Elemental Blast is probably going to target that guy since he can go get a non-red creature. Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just going to go get Magus of the Moon. I'm not sure. He might fetch as well if he doesn't like the top of his deck. But I guess there's a reasonable chance that I just take away, or that I just use the Blue Blast on his Recruiter. Blood Moon. Yeah, I guess I'll counter it. He's got Recruiter in hand, so if he just casts Recruiter here, then okay. Well, all this is fine. Pyroblast, yeah. I mean, I don't really want to burn this Force of Will because this Treasure Cruise is pretty sweet, and we have our island, so we're locked out of the Meddling Mages and like 2 Stone Forges. We can still cast. Let's see. So I'm just gonna get rid of everything except the Cabal Therapies, and well, all these tap for the same color of mana. So we'll draw some cards, play Young Peasy. Thanks for giving me that red mana. And now we're just gonna Force Will his next 2 spells, hopefully, and be good to go. I don't really want to Force a Will. Let's see, I can Force a Will his top, but I think that's fine actually. Yeah, I'm just going to force his top and force his Recruiter, and that's going to put him at virtual dead with how much damage we're going to be dealing, and since his deck doesn't have a way to draw cards, that's going to effectively lock him out, I believe. He could draw an Ensnaring Bridge still. Maybe that's one reason to not counter Imperial Recruiter. Yeah, we're just going to counter him. He's got 1 draw step, basically, to find Ensnaring Bridge. Not worried about it. Has to find actual Ensnaring Bridge, too. And even if he draws it, we can still draw Wear Tear. So. Oh, man, I'm stupid. I should have let that resolve. Then I should have just therapied away whatever he got off of it. That was bad. And then I could still force his bridge. So, yeah, made a small mistake here. If I wasn't playing so fast, I would have caught that sooner. Unless, of course, he went and got Goblin Welder. But there's not too much interesting in his graveyard. But he is dead to just True Name Nemesis, assuming he doesn't draw Bridge. And even if he does draw Bridge, we have some redraws. So Enlightened Tutor's not going to do it, because we countered your stupid thing. Your Sensei's Divining Top. Alright, well, that was round 2. Pretty interesting matchup. The Blood Moons are always a little frightening for decks like this, but that is one of the major reasons why we are playing 2 copies of the Blue Elemental Blast in the sideboard. For just to reiterate, the Blue Blast should be Hydro Blast, but I owned Blue Blast and I joined the tournament with not much time left. So for Young Pyromancer's sake, those should definitely be Hydro Blast, but what are you going to do? Alright, we'll be back for the next round in just a minute.